Well, well, well. It's Major Pick'em season yet again, and as I did last time, and as I will continue to do throughout the iteration of the next upcoming major, the first Counter-Strike 2 major, PGL Copenhagen 2024. And we're doing the pick'ems and we're doing our best. Now, the format has changed from how the pick'ems have been done in recent history. Not too much of a change just yet. However, we are now getting to choose two options for 3-0 and two options for 0-3. This means 100% correct guess. So a 3-0 team, both of them you're allowed to guess. Same for the 0-3, and as such, same for the 3-1 and 3-2. Of course, these two are separate categories. If a team qualifies 3-0 from here, you will not get that point, and same goes the other way. It's a little bit more strict of a restriction that we're used to, but it shouldn't pose too much of a threat. Now, they've also added a handy dandy, I'm not sure this was here before, a randomizer. So if you really do not know or care, I wouldn't do this. I would go on some random analyst like me. I consider myself an analyst now. Listen, I only consider myself an analyst as a counter to people who think they are an analyst. I would not consider myself on the same level as, you know, the professionals who do this day in, day out. But I put my fair share of opinions out there, so it's only fair that I put my opinion out here once again. So, what's important now that we have a bit more thought that goes into 3-0 and 0-3 is the first round, right? After the first round, you can't really reasonably be like, okay, this team is going to go 3-0 because this team is going to win, this team is going to win, this team, you know, it starts to get really murky. One result goes the wrong way and your seedings all slightly different and the matchups are slightly different, and you can't guarantee the prediction for each of the 3-0 and 0-3 slots. But what you can do is avoid a simple mistake and look at the best of one openers that they're playing in the very first round and think to yourself, who's going to lose and who's going to win in a reasonable fashion. Now, I think it should be of no surprise that I put Mongoose here first and foremost. I would not be a true advocate of Asian Counter-Strike if I did not put Mongoose here. Now, I would also be tempted to put Invision here, but let's not be too hallucinatory. Mongoose, they've been playing absolutely fantastic Counter-Strike. Pretty much improving game by game. Zinio has been looking a little bit better recently. He was pretty rough in some of their previous games. I was calling for him to be on the chopping block if they didn't perform at this major, and so this is the true test for him. But they've been playing consistently. They seem to have good goals in mind. They're not really considering that they're the underdogs. They're just playing the usual Counter-Strike, methodical, tactical, and yet some individual plays. And so even if they weren't, you know, I didn't have a bias towards them, I think it would still be a 6th slot. But I'm going to put them as high as I can. I'm not going to put them 3-0. Here's why. They're playing Eternal Fire, and I think Eternal Fire are a solid shoe-in for the next spot. Now, both of these, since I put both of them here, it makes no sense to put them in 3-0, in my opinion, right? Because one of them is not going to be 3-0 as a result of putting them here, unless I want to go for the flawless prediction, which is, you know, some honor in going 10 of 10, but I don't think that's, the real honor is not failing completely. And I think Eternal Fire have been playing pretty reasonable Counter-Strike. Their floor is pretty high. I don't think their ceiling is really all that high, because Woxic is not like a top OPA anymore. He's good at best. He's kind of like a bit better than Nikodos, maybe Toji, a bit worse than Toji, honestly. I hate to say it. It's not really the great level, but that aside, the Riflers are pretty good. Wicadia seems to be a revelation for their team. Antares is always going to show a little bit enough of a level to scrape past. Like, they're gonna farm Pain, they're gonna farm Invision, they're gonna farm, like, even Ecstatic, they're probably gonna farm, right? And so I think it's fair to put him here. Now, the problem is there's a lot of decent teams here, and you really have to look at the matchups to decide which one of these is gonna go 3-0. And, for example, C9, they have Ecstatic. I could see C9 going 3-0, and I could also see C9 not making it at all, because they just run out of steam once they make it to the major. They did boot camp specifically for this, they prepped for it, but honestly, the opening matchup in Ecstatic, I see no reason for Ecstatic to necessarily upset that. Of course, it's best of one, so you can quote my words when it eventually happens, but I think that's a fair game. And while we're going down the list, I'm going to put Heroic in. Now, Heroic could also be a 3-0 team. It's entirely fair to put Heroic as a 3-0 team. I think Heroic have shown a consistent level. If you ignore some of the online blast event that happened just now, they didn't play so good back then, but they've been ramping up. Strong IGL, strong coach. Nico Rose is kind of a fraudulent OPA, but aside from that, the team is pretty solid. And I'm just constructing this off the top of my head right now. I think Apex for a 3-0 is a great shout. Why? Here's why. They play Pain, and this segues into my next point perfectly. Pain and Apex. This is an all-in sort of methodology, you could say. But I believe that this is going to be how it pans out, because I put no faith in any Brazilian team in the major. In general, in fact. Not even Furia, but I can't really, you know, put my nuts on the table yet and say Furia won't qualify, although, you know what, maybe we fill this entire thing out and there's no room for them, but honestly, I think Pain and Legacy both kind of were fortunate to make it to the major. Zero was playing alright, but the level of the America's Arma was so pitifully low that I think it would be 100% reasonable place to put both of these guys right here, down at the bottom right there. And that being said, honestly, now if you're making me think about it like that, there's a lot of free spots here. I could put C9 here instead, but the question is whether C9 is going to go 3-0 or not. Ooh, this is you putting me on the spot right now. Now, out of the rest, who's going to make it? I think Ents in qualification is reasonable. I think Furia, I hate to put them for qualification. I think they have just about the individuals to make it. This is very tricky. You're putting me into a tough position here about who goes where. And also, I don't want to be too cyclically dependent, right? Because if these best of ones don't go my way, for example, if you got Apex versus Pain round 1, if that goes the other way, I immediately lose 2. That's kind of basic stats. You want to make that an avoidance where possible, but also, if you think you're right, you think you're right, you know, at the end of the day? Actually, I honestly, I'm really tempted to put Lin Vision here, but I can't. I have to be honorable before I'm right. I have to be honorable before I'm right. That's my step one. If you were looking for the flawless picks, maybe there's no flawless picks, but if you're looking for something else, then perhaps that's the case. Now, this is a tricky one. Honestly, I'm going to put Saw in. Saw have been looking very, very good lately. They've been ramping up. I think they've got a lot to play for. All eyes on them. And I think as they have been improving, I see no reason why they can't pull off a bunch of victories. You know, first game up against Koi, that's kind of some domestic-esque rivalry going on. I think Saw have been playing better, so I think Saw wins that, and then they kind of maybe go on a bit of a tear and make it through. Now the tricky part is figuring out whether the entirety of this makes a lot of sense. I think putting Apex in 3-0 instead of putting... I would prefer to put somebody else in 3-0 now that I think about it. Because I don't think Apex... Honestly, I can't replace them for Furia because that defeats the purpose, right? I'm trying to separate these. So I want these two to be down here because I genuinely believe in that. If that's the case, I need to find another 3-0 team. Problem is Heroic could be, but I can see Heroic losing to anybody else. Apart from, like, I don't know, Lin Vision, Pain, and Legacy. They could lose to literally anybody else. So the question remains, who do I put in this 3-0 location if not them, right? You want to keep the same philosophy, right? A team that's not necessarily going to go in the main slot. I think putting C9 here is a mistake. On some level? Honestly, I still don't have that much faith in C9. I hate to be real with you. I don't believe in them as a squadron all that much. I don't believe in... I believe in Apex's teamwork, but I don't know if I believe in the fact that they're gonna make it. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Okay, let's review, right? These three... I think these four are a lock. I could be tempted to put Saw in a 3-0. Honestly, I could be tempted to put Saw in a 3-0. That looks way better to me. Am I crazy? I kind of think I'm crazy, but I think this is the right kind of crazy. right? Because I think Apex are actually gonna play pretty solidly. And then I think they're gonna make it to the next stage. I think Furia will scrape by. I think Hit under fire. Stand a good chance to lose the opening game, so do the Mongols, because they play each other, obviously. But I think they're both gonna make it. Now, how many do we need? How many correct picks do you need? Let's save this for the time being. 5 correct pick'ems. So you only need a 50% hit rate on these 10. If that's the case, I think I'm pretty much solid, because one of these is gonna hit. These may not hit, but I think 4 of these is gonna hit. I think you can rely on Ents and Heroic making it. The question is, if they go 3-0, then it fucks up the entire scheme of things. You could be screwed by the way that you've ordered it. But just to run it down, I think this is my final pick. I'm just gonna leave it in there, right? Honest to truth, I think Saw, they could go on a hot streak and just go. C9, they could go on a hot streak and just go. If they don't go on a hot streak because of their boot camp, then I think they could not make it. So it's kind of a fallback plan, same for Saw. I think in close games, I don't really trust both of these teams necessarily compared to like, if honestly, if Cena and Mongols is in 2-2 game, I'm putting my faith in Mongols a lot. Because I think Cena's cohesion, that team play is going to be lacking, the mid-round calling is going to be good, but then they're not going to have necessarily like CT setups, they're not going to have the depth. And I think Mongols T-side against Cena and CT side, Mongols T-side will actually run over them in an embarrassing fashion. I have no words for these guys. I'm not putting Lin. I think Lin Vision is going to win at least one game. That's my prediction. And I think Lin Vision can easily eliminate Pain. I think Legacy is just going to go down to like, you know, who else is likely to lose? Legacy and Ecstatic are going to meet, and Ecstatic is going to 2-0 them in an embarrassing way. And then yet again, Brazil goes out last at the major, as is expected these days, honestly. Apart from Furia, who, you know, have Quesarado, so they make it. And I think that's a fair rundown. So let me know what you think. Put your criticisms and comments and feedback below. We're going to be continuing to do this from stage to stage. Elimination stage coming up next. Stacked lineup, stacked cast for damn sure. And then the playoffs. We don't even know what the potential future of that environment looks like. But as always, thank you for watching. I've got links to my social media stuff in the description below. We got like a Substack. We got Twitter, Twitch, etc. I do a lot of Twitch streams, and you know, I think that's the kind of thing where there's not so much CS, but it's more talking, and I would definitely enjoy it. But I know that people are gonna, if you're coming back to this after the predictions are solid and everyone knows what the results are, so that you can, you know, retroactively check on what's going on here, I would like to see you, if you do that, you can only do it if you posted a video beforehand and then you link to your own video. Because if you put it in the coin, the big whoop. Okay, you put it in the corner. For all I know, you hit shuffle. Okay, put it in a video, explain yourself on each choice like I did, and then, you know what? Maybe I'll take your criticism seriously. Anyway, it's been Backpack Ben, and hope you enjoy. See ya.